The air smells like iron. Not blood. Not yet. The iron of cold front pressure, of moisture crystallizing at altitude, of a system moving in from the northwest at a speed your sinuses register before your eyes see any evidence of it in the sky. You are standing at the edge of a frozen creek bed in late October, and everything above you is still blue, and the spruce trees are still holding their color, and somewhere to the east your pack is sleeping in a loose pile near the kill site from yesterday. 280 kilograms of elk cow, stripped to the bone in 18 hours. You are not sleeping. You are 47 kilograms of muscle, fat, and dense boreal fur, and you are reading the air the way no instrument built by humans can read it. Your nose contains 300 million olfactory receptors, 40 times the number in any human face. Right now, those receptors are processing a column of information 3 kilometers wide and moving southeast at 40 kilometers per hour. What they tell you is not a forecast. It is a fact. The temperature is going to drop. The ground is going to lock. The elk, which have been grazing the valley margins in loose herds of 30 to 50 for the past 6 weeks, fat and slow and within range, are going to move south within days. You have been alpha for 8 months. Your father held this territory for 6 years before a moose opened his flank in March. You watched him slow. You watched the pack watch him slow. You did not challenge him. You did not have to. When he lay down for the last time in April, you were already the animal the others were facing. Not because you were the largest. The beta male, Grizz, outweighs you by 4 kilograms. Not because you were the most aggressive. Because when something needed to be decided, your body had already decided it and the pack had already followed. And it had happened so many times that the pattern had become the territory itself. You are still learning what that costs. The partial tear in your left hind is a lesson you carry in your gait. Not a limp, not quite, but a calculation. On flat ground, you are 62 kilometers per hour in short bursts. On ice, on uneven ground, through deep powder at the end of a long chase, you are something slower than that, and you know it. And no other animal in the pack knows it, and you intend to keep it that way. You turn north and begin moving back toward the pack. Your stride covers 1.4 meters. At a trot, you burn 1.1 kilocalories per minute. The pack needs approximately 2.5 to 5 kilograms of meat per wolf per day to maintain weight in winter conditions, which means your 9-animal pack requires between 22 and 45 kilograms daily. Yesterday's elk cow provided roughly 220 kilograms of edible biomass. That means 4 to 10 days of buffer, depending on temperature, depending on whether you can keep the ravens and the coyotes at the margins, depending on how fast the cold moves. You already know the cold will move faster than 4 days. You reach the kill site at dawn. The pack is stirring. 2 juveniles chasing each other in short bursts through the snow between the trees. The older beta female, Sable, grooming a subordinate near the carcass. Grizz is still asleep, massive and gray, his breath rising in a column of steam. The Omega, a 6-year-old male you have never heard make a sound that wasn't submission, is watching you from 20 meters with the flat, total attention of an animal that has learned that watching the alpha is the closest thing to safety there is. You walk past all of them without ceremony. There is no greeting ritual you perform as alpha. You do not announce yourself. Your presence is the announcement. The 2 juveniles stop chasing each other the moment you enter their peripheral vision. Not from fear, but from a reorientation so complete it looks like physics. As if a magnetic field shifted. You eat last after confirming the others have eaten. This is not generosity. It is information management. You need to know how much is left. There is less than you wanted. The temperature drops 22 degrees in 4 days. Not a gradual descent and a collapse. You feel it first in the sensitivity of your paw pads, which contain a countercurrent vascular heat exchange system. Your evolutionary lineage has been refining for 400,000 years. Blood moving outward through the arteries warms the blood returning through the surrounding veins so that the core of your foot, in contact with snow at 20 degrees C, stays close to 0 degrees C. Not comfortable, but functional. Not frostbitten, not useless. Your paws are never warm. They are never supposed to be. The elk have moved. You know this before you scout it because the forest has a different texture. The absence of large herbivores is not silence, but it is a specific kind of pressure drop, a reduction in disturbance trails and browsing marks, and the particular layering of scent that comes from animals that weigh 300 kilograms moving through snow for weeks. The valley is empty in the way that valleys become empty when the food is gone. You run the perimeter in a single overnight circuit. 34 kilometers, 14 degrees Celsius, a light wind from the west, and confirm it with your nose at every waypoint. You return at dawn with the information encoded in your body, and you change the pack's direction without a single vocalization. This is the part that no description fully captures. The mechanism by which an alpha redirects 9 animals across a landscape without a meeting, without a signal, without anything that looks from the outside like a decision. You simply begin moving northeast toward the ridge system where the caribou winter range begins. And the pack follows. Not because they were told, because the pattern of your movement, the angle of your head, the length of your stride, the direction of your nose, is a language they have been reading since before they had words for it. By the time Grizz realizes you've changed route, he is already 400 meters into it. The first hunt of deep winter takes 2 days. The caribou herd numbers 63 animals. You locate it on the afternoon of the first day by scent carried on a crosswind. A complex signal that tells you herd size, approximate composition, the presence of at least 2 animals moving with asymmetry consistent with injury or old age. You spend 4 hours in a wide downwind arc, reading, testing. The pack fans out in a formation no one choreographed. Learned behavior so deeply embedded in their muscle memory that it runs like a reflex. You identify a cow at the herd's edge. Old, left foreleg stiffness visible in her gait pattern at 300 meters. Not sick, just worn. The chase covers 6.2 kilometers. At kilometer 3, the cow finds a frozen river crossing and turns to make her stand on the ice. This is the most dangerous moment of any hunt. Not the chase, not the kill, but the moment when a 180-kilogram animal with 4 functional legs and no options decides to stop running. You take the first contact, because that is what the alpha does, and because no one else would hold the position on that ice without you having held it first. Her left hoof catches you across the right shoulder. You do not stop. The pack pulls her down in the next 40 seconds. The kill is clean, as these things are measured. Fast, certain, and finished before the cold gets into the wound. You stand over the body while the steam rises from it in the 18 degrees air. Your shoulder is burning in a way your left hind taught you to categorize and set aside. You are not bleeding through the fur. You will not bleed through the fur. The pack eats, and the ravens circle, and you stand at the perimeter and eat last again, and count the animals behind you without turning your head. 9. All 9. You sleep 4 hours. December arrives like a door closing. 3 hunts fail in the first 2 weeks. Not close failures. True misses, in which the prey detects you before you are in position, or the herd is too cohesive to separate, or the chase goes long and the temperature is 26 degrees Celsius, and the calculus of calories burned versus calories. Acquired tips negative before the kill is made. You break off 2 of those chases yourself mid-run with a vocalization that the pack reads instantly. They do not question it. The math is in the air between you. The pack is losing weight. The juveniles lose it first. They are 2 seasons old and their metabolic buffers are thinner, and you can see it in the way they move by mid-December. A fractional reduction in the bounce of their gait, a slight increase in the time they spend lying down. Grizz is holding his weight through sheer mass. Sable is efficient. The way experienced wolves are efficient. She wastes nothing, rests perfectly, burns only what the hunt demands. The Omega is the one you watch most carefully. He is 6 years old. In the wild, that is not old. But this winter is running a debt on him. You can read in his spine. Not visible to human eyes, perhaps, but legible to yours in the way he lowers his rear end in the cold, the way his coat has started to lose the insulating loft it had in October. He eats what he is given. He keeps up, just... You run more kilometers than any other wolf in the pack. This is not optional. The alpha's role in a hunt is not just the kill contact, it is the entire cartographic function. Scouting, route selection, Prey assessment, decision to engage, decision to break off. You cover more ground because you are the one for whom covering ground is information. And information is the only thing keeping 9 animals alive in a landscape that has stopped offering easy answers. By the 3rd week of December, you are burning more calories per day than you are consuming. Your body responds the way it was designed to respond. It begins to metabolize fat reserves, then, incrementally, muscle mass. Your resting metabolic rate is 4.5 times the baseline predicted by your body weight. Wolves run physiologically hot because they have to, because the alternative is freezing. You have approximately 4 kilograms of fat reserves at the start of winter. You have already spent 600 grams of it. On December 21st, the pack kills a young bull caribou 18 kilometers northeast of your core territory. It weighs 140 kilograms live weight, around 95 kilograms of edible tissue. The pack eats for 2 days. The omega eats slowly, methodically, and you watch him eat without making it watching, and you do not move him from the carcass when he is clearly below his fill. No other wolf notices this. No other wolf is supposed to. You are not protecting him out of sentiment. You are protecting a resource. A functioning pack member, an animal whose presence at the back of a hunt changes the geometry of a chase in ways that matter. You are doing arithmetic in your body before your mind has named it arithmetic. The forest holds 20 centimeters of settled snow by Christmas. The temperature at night is reaching 29 . Somewhere to the west, a sound carries on the wind at 3 a.m. Not a howl, not exactly, but the vocalization signature of a pack you have encountered twice on your western boundary. You answer it. Not a challenge. A statement of location, a coordinate broadcast into the dark that says, this territory is occupied, this boundary is held, the animal on this side of it is awake and has enough left in him to make you regret testing it. The sound from the west does not come again that night. You stand in the dark for another 20 minutes reading the wind before you go back to sleep. January comes in without announcement. The subordinate male, 3 years old, 44 kilograms, fast in the close-in kill contact, begins to take up more space. Not dramatically, not stupidly. He positions himself upwind of you during rests, so the pack reads his scent as prominent. He moves to the front of the travel formation 2 or 3 times per day for exactly long enough to register, then drops back before it becomes a statement. He holds eye contact with Sable a fraction of a second longer than rank allows. None of this is invisible to you. You are reading a social document written in body position and cortisol and micro-displacements of space. What it says is, this animal is testing the load-bearing capacity of the structure you represent. He is not trying to destroy it. He is trying to find out if you are still strong enough to hold it. You answer the only way that matters. You remain exactly what you are. You do not escalate his small challenges into confrontations. That would be his win, not yours. You are simply continuously, undeniably present. You eat last and stand longest and cover the most ground. And when you return from a 14-hour scouting run at 22 ayuts, you walk into the rest site with the same stride you had in October. And you lie down at the center, and the weight of your presence redistributes the social geometry without a single tooth shown. The pack does not need to see you dominate him. The pack needs to see you be unmovable. Those are not the same thing, and the difference between them is what separates an alpha that lasts from one that burns through his authority before the thaw. By the end of January, he is sleeping 4 meters from you. The distance is still saying something. But what it is saying has changed. On the 3rd day of February, the rival pack crosses your western boundary. You know it 6 hours before you find any tracks. The scent signal on the wind is specific enough that you can count them. 5 animals, 1 very large, 2 juveniles. Hungry, moving toward caribou scent. The same logic driving your own movements. You take Grizz and the subordinate male and move west at a sustained lope, 14 kilometers in 2.5 hours. You find them crossing a frozen lake. The rival alpha is gray-black, maybe 52 kilograms, bigger than Grizz. He turns to face you the moment he sees you. His 2 adults flank. Everything stops. What follows takes 11 minutes and involves no physical contact. It is conducted entirely in posture, in urine marked on the ice edge, in vocalizations that carry information about pack size and health and territorial claim. You transmit. This boundary is real. We are 3 and there are 9 behind us. The cost of crossing is higher than the cost of going around. The rival alpha receives it, runs his own calculation, and turns south. Not quickly. Not with any signal of defeat. The way a river reroutes around a harder formation. You mark the ice edge 4 times before turning back east. Your left hind is speaking to you in a language of low-grade heat that means tomorrow will be harder than today. You run 14 kilometers back without stopping. The coldest week arrives in the 3rd week of February. The temperature drops to 34 degrees Celsius on the 2nd night. Your upper respiratory tract warms every inhale to 37 degrees C before it reaches your lungs. An exchange so efficient it costs more energy than you have been consistently replacing for 6 weeks. You weigh 44 kilograms. You entered October at 47. The Omega cannot keep up. It happens on a scouting run, 22 kilometers, moderate pace. He falls behind at kilometer 14. You slow the group by 8%. Not enough for the others to notice. Enough for him to reach the waypoint without burning his emergency reserves. He arrives 4 minutes late, breathing in a way that takes longer to settle than it should. You rest the pack for 2 hours. No one questions this. The cold justifies it. On the 4th day of the cold week, you locate the moose. A cow, 560 kilograms, moving through a spruce stand in the river valley. Alone, conserving energy, already aware of your scouting circuit. You take the whole pack, including the Omega. The approach covers 4 hours in a wide downwind arc. She runs northeast when you cut upwind at the end, exactly as the terrain dictates, toward the open river ice. The chase covers 3.8 kilometers. She is fast for her size, 56 kilometers per hour in the first burst, which is faster than any wolf in your pack at the end of a February month. What wolves have that moose do not is the math. You sustain 50 kilometers per hour longer than she sustains 56. You are banking on her burning her sprint reserve before you burn yours. At kilometer 2, she turns to make her stand at a spruce blowdown. A partial barricade behind her, her front legs her weapons. A moose foreleg at full extension delivers approximately 900 kilograms of force. Grizz takes a hit to the shoulder in the first 90 seconds and pulls to the flank. You absorb a contact across your compromised left hind that travels all the way to the hip. You do not stop. The pack holds position around her, 4 to 8 meters, reading the geometry, waiting. The moment lasts 43 seconds by any external measure. Then the subordinate male comes in from the left flank at the instant the cow's attention is forward. His contact is clean and decisive and brave, and the pack follows before she can reset, and 70 seconds later she is down. You stand at her head. Your left hind is a continuous signal now. Not pain exactly, but a loud biological message about tissue state. You will not run tomorrow. You eat at the carcass with the pack, shoulder to shoulder with Grizz, because the pack needs to see the alpha absorb the cost and still be standing. This is not performance. It is information. It says we are intact. It says we continue. The subordinate male eats 1 body length to your left. You do not look at him. You do not need to. The pack spends 3 days at the kill site. The Omega eats more than his share. You allow this without any signal the others could read as policy. You are not making decisions. You are being the conditions under which the pack survives. Your left hind improves. Not well, better. February ends. March arrives carrying something different. The molecular signature of soil beginning to move under the snowpack, of bark beetles registering warmth in spruce cambium, of a pressure system from the south that is not warm yet but is less cold than what came before. Your hormonal baseline shifts before your behavior shows it. You are 41 kilograms. The Omega is alive. The juveniles are thin but moving. Grizz has a deep bruise under his shoulder fur from the moose contact and has been adjusting his hunt angle to protect it. You have been covering the gap that adjustment creates without him knowing. Sable is unchanged. She has been unchanged since October. The subordinate male holds 7 meters from the pack center, steady for 3 weeks. Not closing, not opening. The radius of an animal that has proven himself and is waiting for the structure to recognize it. You will recognize it in the spring. The snow retreats first from the south-facing slopes. The creek beds move under the ice before the surface shows it. The air carries the scent of running water for the first time since October. Thin, distant, unmistakable. You are standing at the same creek bed where you stood in late October, reading the iron pressure of the incoming cold. The spruce trees are still holding their winter posture. But something underneath all of it is moving. Behind you, the pack is resting. All 9. The snow pulls back from the roots of the trees. The air smells like water again. You are 6 kilograms lighter than the wolf that walked into October. And every single gram of what is missing is still alive, somewhere behind you, breathing.